Good morning, students. Welcome to the class on organometallic chemistry. Today we will discuss about silicon reagents. Silicon reagents are a very important part of protecting groups or reagents in organic synthesis. First, we will look at the silicon bond energies with the different atoms. Generally, silicon forms the strong bond with fluorine. Silicon fluorine bond is the strongest bond. So that is why generally whenever we have a silicon protecting group and when we want to deprotect the silicon functional group, we will. So whenever there is a silicon protecting functional group and when we want to deprotect it, generally what we will do, we will treat that silicon functional group with a fluorine reagent, because wherever fluorine is there, it will immediately forms a bond with silicon. Okay, so that is the reason why we don't store fluorine reagents in a glass vial. Okay, what is glass? Glass is nothing but silica. So silica oxygen bonds may be replaced with silica fluorine. In that case, the bottle may break down, right? So that is why we don't store fluorine reagents in glass vials, whereas we do store them in plastic vials. Right. The next strongest bond that silica can form is silicon oxygen. It is 530 kilojoules per mole. So that is why generally wherever oxygen functional groups are there, we can easily protect them with silicon, because silicon forms the second strong bond with oxygen. And similarly, um, silicon carbon bond is 320, silicon chlorine is 470. When we compare these energies with carbon fluorine, it is just 450 kilojoules per mole, whereas carbon bond is just 335 kilojoules per mole. So that means the bond energies for these bonds is very less compared to them. Okay, so from this point we can say that silicon forms the strongest bond with fluorine and the second strongest bond with oxygen. So that is why when we want to protect the silicon functional groups, we will use some fluorine reagents. And whenever we have an oxygen functional group, it can be easily protected with silicon. Among the halogens, the bond strength, when we compare bond strength, silicon iodine bond is the weakest bond, and the order follows like this: silicon bromine, silicon chlorine. Of course, the strongest bond is silicon fluorine. And because of its large size, silicon may not form silicon double bonds. At the same time, it cannot form silicon carbon double bonds. It is basically due to large size of silicon. It is basically due to the large size of silicon. Right, please take the notes along with me. Right, we will start with some silicon reagents. TMS chloride. When we want to learn about silicon and boron reagents, please refer this book. Susan E. Thomas, The Role of boron and silicon in organic synthesis. It is a chemistry, Oxford Chemistry Primer's books. Oxford Chemistry Primer book. What is TMS chloride? TMS chloride is trimethyl silyl chloride. Trimethyl silyl chloride. This in shortcut we use TMS chloride. TMS chloride. TMS chloride, the silicon is having 3 methyl substituents, so it is a sterically crowded functional group. Silicon is sterically crowded with 3 methyl functional groups. Generally, it is used as a protecting group for hydroxyl groups. TMS chloride is used as a protecting group for hydroxyl groups. Whenever alcohol is there, we used to protect it using TMS chloride. Similarly, we can also use TMS O triflate. O triflate is a good leaving group. So TMS will be transferred to alcohol. So TMS chloride or TMS O triflate are generally used as protecting groups for alcohol functional groups. Now, how do we prepare TMS chloride? TMS chloride is generally prepared with the appropriate equivalents of methyl Grignard reagent and silicon tetrachloride. We do discussed the reaction between Grignard reagent and metallic halides. Here, Grignard reagent acts as a nucleophile and chlorine is a good leaving group. So methyl group will attack on silicon, one of the chlorine will be leaving. So when we use one equivalent of Grignard reagent, one of the methyl group will be transferred to silicon. So we will be generating methyl trichlorosilane. Similarly, when we use one more equivalent of Grignard reagent, we are going to transfer one more methyl group to silicon. So here we are getting dimethyl dichlorosilane. When we use third equivalent, we will be getting trimethyl silyl chloride, trimethyl chlorosilane, or what we generally call as trimethyl silyl chloride. When we use 4 equivalents of Grignard reagent, then it is possible to have tetramethylsilane. Okay, so when we want to have the final product of TMS chloride, what we need to do, we need to take 3 equivalents of Grignard reagent and 1 equivalent of tetrachlorosilane. So this is how we will prepare TMS chloride. This is an alcohol functional group. So how do we protect it? Generally, alcohol functional groups are very important functional groups in the transformation of organic compounds, in the synthesis of organic compounds. So we can convert alcohol functional group to carbonyl, we can add electrophiles, we can add nucleophiles, we can have coupling reactions. So there are many reactions possible with the alcohol functional groups, and it is also important to protect them. So generally we use TMS chloride along with a base to protect alcohol functional groups. Alcohol functional groups, right? Generally we use nitrogen bases, triethylamine, DBU, 2,6-lutein. 2,6-lutein is nothing but two methyl groups on a pyridine molecule. Two methyl groups on pyridine molecule. Or NaH, or methyl lithium, or N-butyl lithium. So we use all these bases to protect alcohol functional groups. These bases will pick up the acidic proton from alcohol. Then O minus will attack on silicon. Cl is a good leaving group. So O minus will attack on silicon, then Cl will be leaving, so that we will be getting OTMS protecting group. So this is how we generally do alcohol protection. So we have protected alcohol as with the TMS chloride. So we have a protecting group, OTMS group. Now, after some reactions, we again want to have our alcohol back. Then how do we deprotect it? As I said, silicon functional groups can be deprotected by using some fluorine reagents. TBAF or trifluoroacetic acid, or even we can use HF, but thing is that HF is a strong acid. We can use dilute HF, but generally we don't use. We can use dilute HF, and see, we do conduct organic reactions in glass RB flask. So whenever we want to use HF, it is not recommended, right? Because HF is a strong acid, so fluorine is freely available. It may react with the glass, so the glass vial may break, right? So that is why we don't prefer HF, but we can use TBAF or trifluoroacetic acid. What is TBAF? TBAF is tetra N-butyl ammonium fluoride. Tetra N-butyl ammonium fluoride. Here F minus. It is a mild source of F minus. Mild source of F minus. So we, based on the molarity, we can limit the fluorine concentration, right? One molecule will give only one fluorine atom. So generally TBAF is used as a deprotecting group for silicon protecting groups. Sometimes we also use trifluoroacetic acid. Trifluoroacetic acid is little stronger than TBAF. So when we do this deprotection, what we will get? We will get the alcohol back. Okay, so this is deprotection of. So we have learned that how to protect alcohols using silicon reagents, TMS chloride, then how to deprotect them. Now, I'll tell you how do we use these reagents in organic functional group transformations. Generally, when we have a carbonyl and when it is treated with a base, because the alpha carbon is acidic carbon, the protons on alpha carbon are acidic, we can deprotect the alpha carbons. But generally, this reaction may be an equilibrium reaction. That means both forward and backward reactions may occur, which will result in the low yield. So to improve the yield, what we will do, we generally trap that enolate using some silicon reagents. Now it is a different molecule, right? It is not the intermediate, it is the product here. So generally what we are doing, when we treat it with a base, we are generating an anion here. Of course, it will be in equilibrium with this enolate ion. This is the enolate ion. Then enolate ion will be trapped with TMS chloride, so that 100% it will be converted to OTMS. But if we don't trap this enolate ion, it will be in equilibrium with this group, and this may be transferred back to the original carbonyl, right? So in that case, we will be ending up with a very low yield, 50 to 60%. But when we trap this enolate ion with the TMS chloride, I'm sure we will be getting more than 95% to 100% yield. So that is why generally whenever we want to generate an enolate ion, and when we want to convert it further, first people used to trap that enolate, then it will be used for further reactions, right? So we have just discussed about trapping the enolate ion with the TMS chloride to improve the yield. Now how do we use this chemistry in organic functional group transformations? So of course, this we have discussed in the previous classes during carbonyls also, right? What will happen here? We will get OTMS. So it is enol TMS ether. When we want to do alkylation on the alpha carbon, generally we will treat with a base. It generates a negative charge here. Then we will use some electrophile for alkylation. But the direct reaction may yield less yields. So that is why we will trap the enolate. Then we will use electrophile. Now in this case, oxygen will again push its lone pairs to form the carbonyl double bond. Then this double bond will be polarized and will be attacking on this uh, electrophile. Here iodine is a good leaving group, and at the same time it will bind to silicon. So the product is alkylation on the alpha carbon. Of course, we have further explored it when we use another equivalent of TMS chloride, then followed by methyl iodide. What is the product here? When we use potassium tertiary butoxide, TMS chloride, then followed by methyl iodide, what is the product here? Of course, one is kinetically controlled product, other one is thermodynamically controlled product. So why we are doing this TMS in a protection for this enolate ion? It is purely to improve the yield. To improve the yield of the product, we are doing this. Not only that, we can do the same chemistry in the case of 1,4 additions. So Gilman reagents are soft nucleophiles. They will undergo 1,4 addition, and at the same time we can trap that unulate. Generally what happens, Gilman reagents are soft nucleophiles. They will undergo 1,4 addition. They will attack here. Then this double bond will be polarized, so that it will be polarized towards carbonyl. So yeah, I'll write like this. This vinyl minus will attack here. It undergoes 1,4 addition. Then we are generating a negative charge here, or we can polarize this towards carbonyl. Then carbonyl double bond will be polarized towards oxygen. O minus will be trapped as TMS, right? So here also, to improve the yield, we are trapping this enolate with the TMS. And when we want to do further reactions, that means alkylation on the alpha carbon, we can use an electrophile. So here the product is always trans, right? So one will be above the plane, another will be below the plane, right? So here also the lone pair will be polarized towards C double bond formation. Then this double bond will attack on double bond polarization. Then bromine is a good leaving group. It will be leaving. Here the product is always a trans product because of the spherical crowding. Incoming electrophile will approach the molecule from opposite phase. Because this group is already above the plane, it creates spherical crowding above the plane. So this electrophile approaches this molecule from below the plane. The same chemistry can be utilized in Dickmann condensation also, acetylene condensation. What is acetylene condensation? When we have two ester groups, they can be reductively coupled using sodium. So it gives a product like this. Generally we will have alpha hydroxy ketone, but yeah, again it will be in equilibrium, so it may give less yield. To improve the yield, what we will do, we will protect that alpha hydroxy compound with TMS so that it generates two TMS units, and this can be deprotected. Here we can use oxidative decoupling. When we just use TBAF, it will undergo deprotection. We will get alpha hydroxy carbonate. But in this case, what we are doing oxidative decoupling. So here the product will be two carbonyls. The product will be